Bless you, boys! What a game!
Gilmore! It's a knee! Wins the game!
Ben! Whoa! Big Pappy has given the Leafs the lead! This time we're gonna finish the job!
It has never been more clear to me, to most Leaf fans, to media members at this point that this team does not have it. It is time to sell, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to break it all down right here, right now, in terms of what that looks like, what the Leafs should do, what I think they're going to do, the letter from ownership that came out today, and of course, your own fan reactions down there in the chat as well. People are absolutely fired up right now because this team, we know where this is going. We just don't know if they're going to handle it properly. And by the track record and by all accounts, it's not going to be handled properly. So we're going to get into it all. I want to talk about some of the Marlies as well, because if they do start making trades, they're going to have to call up some guys. And is this coach and Craig Berube the guy to bring it over the finish line? Actually, that's not even the correct wording to use. Is he the guy to use these prospects, be able to utilize them, develop them properly? I don't think so. We're going to talk about it all here, but welcome in, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great night despite a horrific loss, 4-2. And of course, typical, so typical of this team to bring it within 2. I mean, disgusting, honestly. Disgusting. Just gross. But there we are, 4-2, final score. Joshua, everybody, how's it going in the chat? Nice to see you, Rick. I'm not going to use the rebuild word. I'm not going to use a rebuild word, but we got to talk about the draft pick scenario and the depth thing, by the way, like the prospecting. It's not as bad as people are saying. I saw like there's a lot of narratives out there and a lot of people saying different things. I don't think that is as bad as people think, but the draft pick thing is as bad as people are saying, and we got to get into that. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot going on. This team doesn't have it. I don't care that it was Tampa Bay. And there, everyone was off for 3 weeks just now, right? Well, not everyone. We were live here on the channel every day. But, everyone was off for 3 weeks just now. And you come back and you lay an egg like that. And Tampa has won, I think, 21 of 22, dating back to before the break, obviously. And I know it was their first game back. But you lay an egg. It looked, I thought for sure they were getting shut out. They had nothing all night. Morgan Riley, I love the guy. I think that he's a defenseman that they drafted. They developed themselves. He turned into, a top defenseman on this team. Not talking about in the league. At one point we're done. He's 31. We're done. We are done. You need a number 1 defenseman on this team, and whether it's through the draft or trading for him, we are done. We are done with that player. And when you look at the rest of the defense corps, the 5th best defenseman on this team last year is now your best defenseman, and it's OEL. How are you going to win games like that? What do you want to do? You want to scrape into the playoffs? Really? What's that going to do? Who are you going to end up playing? Let's say they get the first wild card spot, right? Let's say you're playing the Carolina Hurricanes. Last year, I think you could beat them. This year, they probably mopped the floor with this team. The structure isn't there. You talk about changing the DNA. Brad Living last, and we're going to get into some reports and stuff, guys, in a second. I want to get into some prospect stuff, salary cap, who I think they should sell off, all of that stuff in a second. I'll take some comments as well, some stuff from the chat, because a lot of you guys are going crazy. There's going to be they have to make trades. And not buying. They have to sell. It's over. This team doesn't have it. This team sucks. It's awful. The deployment sucks. The roster itself sucks. I'm watching some of these lines go out there, and I'm like, these guys don't have anything. Launch that first line into the sun. I do not want to see Austin Matthews play with either Bobby McMahon or for a while, or Max Domi for a while. Maybe bring them back together at some point, but for a long time. Give me Nyes back on that line and give me Michelli up there. Try it. I want to see what it looks like, because there's nothing else happening. John Tavares heading into next year. This guy, I love him. Still has a lot of skill, a lot of use on the team. He makes $4 million now. He's a 3rd-line center. Not only do you have to go out and get a number 1 defenseman, you need a 2nd-line center. And we've known this for 3 years that this was coming, and you've done nothing to prepare for that. Nothing. The whole time Brad Living's been here, you knew that was a problem. I talked about it last year. We were talking about it in the summer. You need to do something about that, and they haven't done anything about that. This team is not, they're not sniffing the playoffs. There's no way. There's no way. I think Buffalo won tonight too. I didn't see the final score there in New Jersey. It's over. I'm not saying to blow this up. A lot of people are saying blow it up, start over. I have to say personally, and I see you guys there in the chat. Actually, I want to start reading out some usernames, but let's not blow it up. Okay? But yeah, and Troy Stetcher being the thing to save the day this year. I mean, like, it was a nice story for a month, but what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, it was a nice story, and I can enjoy it. And I said, this is cool, the work ethic thing. Like, it does rub off on other people. It's contagious. For a month, like, that's not the solution. Troy Stetcher, he's not coming back next year. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Bobby McMahon, there was a report from Darren Dreger that they're not close on an extension. And that he does like being here in Toronto. That's nice. That's nice. I'm sure a lot of guys like being in Toronto. Goodbye. Right? And people are saying, why do you keep trying to trade McMahon? I think McMahon's a great player. And if he wants to stay, that's great. But you got to take less. If you want $5 million, goodbye. And if you don't have a contract extension in place next week by the trade deadline, goodbye. Goodbye. We need assets. And I'm not talking just first round picks. Let's get into it now. I'll bring it up. Brandon Carlo, by the way, as you can see here from Bruce Garrioch over in Ottawa, he's in play. He's on the trade block. As everybody should be. The only people I don't think they should trade, because it honestly doesn't make any sense, is Austin Matthews, William Nylander. Outside of and John Tavares. If you can figure out the second line center position. Outside of that, it's over. I wanted to bring this up. Make it full screen for you guys can see. The draft situation this year is horrific, guys. You got to get back in the first round. And if you can't get a first rounder for a guy like Bobby McMahon, you take 2 seconds, just like Kiefer Sherwood got, and then you flip those 2 seconds with another piece to go get your first round pick to get back in the first round. The draft scenario here is awful. Now, is the prospect thing as bad as people are saying? No, I don't believe that, and I'll get into that in a second. I think there's some good pieces down there in the Marlies. But they're not utilizing them either. They're not. And that's another problem with the team currently, right now. You don't have a first or second rounder this year. That's a problem. You're drafting in the 3rd round. Who's coming through? Right? It's not good. Wrong button. Sorry, guys. It's not happening. It's not happening. So, let me get to some stuff in the chat. A lot of you guys in here tonight. Nice to see you, Prophet. Yes, the sequence hitting the post by Brandon Hagel coming back the other way. Very Patrick Stefan-esque. Not the same scenario because he didn't tie the game, but very Patrick Stefan-esque. Brad Living hasn't made a trade in like 240 days. How? This team doesn't have it. You need to recoup draft picks. Let's get into it. I'll get into a couple things here. And this is the way I see it, right? This is the salary cap situation right now. Current cap space, $4.1 million. Chris Tanev's on the shelf. By the way, Chris Tanev, at least what I think, they haven't officially announced it. I think, again, I'm speculating here, okay? So don't take what I'm saying as the gospel right now, right? I think he tore his groin. And they were like, if you get surgery, it could shorten your career or something complicates that, right? Range of motion, something, right? Or you can try and let it heal yourself, rehab it, and maybe you come back this year. I think he chose the rehab route because he's like, I want to at least try and play next year. I think that's what's happening. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just speculating on that. So don't throw that around and tell people that that's the truth. That's just what I think. Obviously, you're saving some money from him. Projected cap space next year, $21 million. You can do a lot with that. That's projected. That does not include UFAs right now. You can do, you can actually upgrade with that cap space in free agency. This is what the draft pick situation looks like right now. Like I just went over, it looks horrible. You need a second or first. And I don't think you're getting a first for Scott Lawton this year. I think you should look at trading Scott Lawton, by the way, and hear me out when I say that. Talk to him and be like, do you want to come back next year? We're going to trade you at the deadline, but we'd love to have you back next year and talk about that and what a contract looks like. If it's more than $4 million, don't do it. This team, I'm tired of this team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, being reactive. I'm tired of it. This team's not making the playoffs. Do not sit on your hands. They're not making the playoffs. Don't sit on your hands and let it pass you by. Get some assets in return, right? Stop being reactive. In 2018, hindsight's 2020, of course, before they signed John Tavares, they were going to the playoffs in a bad spot. Like, you're going in as the 3 seed against the Boston Bruins that you just lost to the year before, right? And was it that year or the year after? I think maybe it was the first year. Not favorable matchup. You knew you were losing probably Bozak and JVR. Why wouldn't you trade those guys? Just go into the playoffs, see what you can do, and then load up again, right? Revisionist history, of course. But to this year, they need to do something here. Let's look at the UFA situation here and what's going on with this. So this is UFAs. Kalle Järnkrok, we know, is going to Sweden. Like, that's the worst kept secret of all time. He's off the team, which is also the other, like, Kalle Järnkrok still playing on this team and Jacob Quillen's with the Marlies. Like, what are we doing? Why is Easton Cowan out of this lineup? He's not the answer, but why is he out of the lineup? Scott Lawton, you take a look at trading him. Bobby McMahon, again, if you can get like 2 seconds, definitely a first, gone. And that's just the forwards. I don't know how you guys, I'm going to throw it out to the chat right now too, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. OEL is at the height of his value, and he's in his mid-30s, and he has a few years left on his contract. Trade him. Trade him. Stop sitting on your hands. And I love OEL. I love the fire that he brings, all of the intangibles. I get it. I'm on that side. I'm with you guys on that side, right? I love that stuff. Don't sit on your hands. You're not going to make the playoffs. Get something in return for him, and then maybe we see William Villanova in the NHL next year, right? There's a couple guys that are making some noise. I want to get into that in a little bit as well. Not just with the Marlies, but in the OHL as well. Canucks Digest saying, jokes, I'm glad another team is feeling our pain in BC. Love the content, Darius. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you. This team, they were off for 3 weeks, this team. Nyes is talking about how his knee feels better. All these guys recouping from injury, blah, blah, blah. They looked horrible tonight. They looked awful. And I know it's Tampa Bay, but I don't care. I don't care. The goal is to be competing for the Stanley Cup, not squeezing into the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. This is an aging team. It's crazy. Tonight showed me we are done here. And here's the worst part, guys. Here is the worst. Here is, because the letter came out today, right? We covered it in our video earlier today. If you didn't see that, go check it out. Keith Pelly sent out a letter to all the season ticket holders saying, we are going to do everything in our power to make the playoffs this year because we want to bring a competitive team to the fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nothing that comes out from this team, management, ownership, like this year, especially after last year, them saying that we are going to make efforts to bring the fan base and media closer to the team, right? Because I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect. That was what the goal was. There's even more of a disconnect. Everything that comes out does not seem genuine at all. Like I didn't look at that letter and go, yes, I'm so excited to see my Toronto Maple Leafs do whatever they can to buckle down and make the playoffs. No, it doesn't make sense. We are smarter than that. It's like they are insulting our intelligence sometimes. It's insane. It's insane. We all pay attention to the team. We know what's happening. And what we know is happening is they're not going to make the playoffs. So you got to do something about it. There's a lot. There's a lot. Here's the worst part. I wanted to bring this up. Make this bigger for you guys. After tonight's game, this is the schedule. For the next 1, count them, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, you are playing the worst teams in the Eastern Conference. So if they do actually win some games there before the trade deadline, in their next 5 games, which all these 5 games are before the trade deadline, this organization, this management group, this ownership group is going to look at that and go, we just won 4 games. We are back. Let's go get another defenseman. Let's trade whatever draft picks we have left. Let's pull Oklahoma City Thunder or whatever teams traded with them and give them all their draft picks from 2035. Let's start trading guys who are not even in the OHL yet, and try to make a run at it, because we're playing the 5 worst teams in the Eastern Conference. Like, this is insane how this is lining up. You guys am I insane for thinking this? Am I insane for thinking this? They play the 5 worst teams in the Eastern Conference. They're going to beat the New York Rangers, who are actively tanking for the first overall pick. And Treliving's going to go, we're going to win the Stanley Cup, guys. We're going to do it. Let's make a trade. We're going to win the Stanley Cup. Can't wait. What? What? That's where we're at. That's where we're at with all this. And the reason is we're not blind. This is a business. MLSE is a business. The guy comes in, Keith Pelley, and goes, we're not here to sell jerseys. We want to bring a championship to Toronto. I keep hearing that. That was in the letter today, too. We want to bring a championship to Toronto. Leaf fans we don't want none of the lip service anymore. Finish with that. We want to see action. Tangible things that we can be like, oh, here's a change, right? It's not happening at all. And I feel like I've been super optimistic on the channel. Maybe I'm a little bit emotional because it's after a win. But I just know what's coming for this team. And that is delaying a retool that needs to happen immediately because, you know, we all knew this was going to come crashing down, didn't we? I mean, to a degree. It was either going to be just okay, and I thought maybe they'd squeak into the playoffs and maybe they'd be a better team with, you know, different pieces that they were bringing in, like Nick Waugh and stuff like that. Or it was going to come crashing down because it was the end of an era anyway. You ran all of that with Mitch Marner, all of it into the ground till the wheels fell off. They should have made a move a long time ago, and they just kept everything together, and then the guy who kept everything together got let go last summer. But nothing I see from this organization since early 2024 do I look at and I go, boy, I'm excited. Can't wait to see that come to fruition. Nothing. Zero. Except when they made the playoffs last year, I went, I'm excited. I was excited for that. I thought they had a chance. I was like, if they can just beat the Panthers, like, we have something here. But I guess it was too tall of a task. They almost went up 3-0 on them. And I'm going to say it now. I've been saying it for a long time. I've only been on this channel since late 2023, I think. Mitch Marner, you let him walk for nothing because you kept him too long. That was the problem. You should have traded that player for a plethora of assets to then build up this team. Maybe a defenseman, a top defenseman, to build up this team and continue. But now you're left with not much because you just put everything into that idea that was eventually going to work. And we all knew it wasn't after 2021. We all knew after the Montreal Canadiens series that was over. At least I did. I was like, I'm done here. And you went 4 more years. But here we are. We can only deal with what we have right now, of course. And that is a team that we need to make some trades. But here we go. Don Miller saying we were fooling ourselves. We should have sold long ago. Wouldn't spend a dime on a Leafs ticket. I feel like it's gonna be interesting. The other thing in that letter, get this too, season ticket holders. So the NHL schedule too. I thought this was interesting in the article from TSN. Season ticket holders obviously have 41 games, right? Because there's 82 games in a season. Well, next year the NHL schedule goes to 84 games. So there's an extra home game. Season ticket holders they have the option to buy those tickets, but they're not getting those tickets as part of their package. You would have to buy that extra game. Otherwise, it just goes to whatever, I guess. So I saw that in the article too. I thought that was interesting. It's crazy. Boycott the Leafs. Can't win being soft. It's not just soft. Like, they don't even have skill at this point. They don't have heart. Like, no heart, but there is a misalignment everywhere. Everywhere. And I've said this on this channel. I've said it a bunch of different places. I believe the whole team, players, coach, management, ownership, all of it needs to be in alignment for you to win. I'm not even talking about a championship, just to find any type of success. Everything needs to be in alignment. You look at the Florida Panthers organization, it is all in alignment, right? Any other team that's won the Stanley Cup, all in alignment. This team, ownership has their own agenda. Management wants to do something and ownership is telling management to do another thing. Like, you can see it. Same with coaching. And Berube was given, after last year, more responsibilities and a bigger role than any other head coach in the NHL has, right? And more say. So coaching's, the system sucks. Like, you fired your power play coach and your power play still sucks. So that's happening. And the players are just, some of them look checked out. Like, this system sucks. What am I doing here? Right? Everything's misaligned. It all sucks. It's horrible right now. You can see it in real time. It looks horrible. But I think you have to trade. This is who I'm trading. You look at Carlo. You put Carlo out there. See what you can get from him. Just on the trade block I'm talking about. See what you can get for Bobby McMahon. Like what that is. I think a first could be in play for him because of the salary cap. His salary cap hit 1.3, and you can retain salary. Yeah, Mark, a retool has to come. Retool has to come. Benoit too. I mean, we've been on the Benoit train for a while. The team hit a peak last year, right? And then you come into this year and you're like, I'm thinking this could work. They're going to take a step back in the regular season. This could work. And I would like to see them in the playoffs with more depth. Wah. All of that stuff. And I keep bringing up Wah because you finally have a third line center and you're deploying Matthews like one. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Prophet. Matthew plays too much, period. Way too much, period. And that was the whole problem with the Keith era too, because it was like anytime you need something done, oh, let's go back to the same 3 guys again. Let's go back to the same 4 guys again for 5 minutes that are gassed. The other team is just rolling lines, and then you lose because you can't get anything of substance out of the bottom of your lineup because you don't trust them. Crazy. Benny was good with his Bash brother. Yeah, the other thing that people aren't talking about, and I'm going to throw this out there right now, Jake McCabe, by the way, love the guy. Thought he had a great season last year. Jake McCabe has somehow turned into Brian McCabe in 2007. Like overnight. And he just got a new contract extension. So that's concerning too. Because he had a good year last year, and I was like, man, that defense pairing with him and Tanev, I'm like, that is something. You have something there. It's real. And then you come into this year, Tanev's not there, McCabe's playing with a bunch of different guys, and he's turned into Brian McCabe in 2007. The other thing is Morgan Riley, and this happened near the end of the game. OEL was clearly your best defenseman tonight and probably all year, right? And now you're sticking him with Riley because it's crazy. Riley was supposed to be the number 1 on this team, and you're sticking OEL with Riley to shelter Riley. This is crazy. Everything needs to go besides Nylander and Matthews. Everything. And then we can have a conversation about that at some point, I think. But they're both under contract, and I don't think they're going anywhere. But everything else needs to wrap up here, I think. I don't mind that. I think he just plays too much like near the end of a game. But yes, you're right. Like he should take over a game. He should play in different situations, all that stuff. I do agree with that. But I think he just plays too much like at the end of a game. Like if you're trailing, he plays the last 6 minutes. It's crazy. But I do want to get into some other stuff. I want to talk about some prospects because nobody... Yeah, keep Nyes too. Sorry. Nyes and Tavares isn't going anywhere. But Tavares' role has to change. This is the thing. I've been talking about this for a year and a half. How have you not prepared for John Tavares? He's giving you great minutes. Thank you, John. I appreciate you. Got your jersey on my wall. I love you, John Tavares. You're getting older, and you should be a third-line center, and your salary with that and the cap going up makes sense. Where's the second-line center now? You knew this was coming for a long time. What is the plan? There is no plan. Or there's a plan in place. But ownership has their own plan. They're like, please do this. We have no idea what we're doing. Please do this. And then Brad Treliving goes, okay, I guess I have to, and I might get fired in 3 months. And then he tells Treliving or Berube what's going on, and then Berube goes, well, I'm just going to do my own thing anyway. What's that? Easton Cowan, we shouldn't play him a certain amount of games so then he can go back to the Marley so he's not sitting on his ass at home for a month during the Olympics? No, we're not going to do that, but we're just going to scratch him all the way till the Olympics, and then we're not going to play him when we return from the Olympics. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think you should also take a look at... I don't think a full teardown rebuild is the... I think you can retool very easily and be backup as a really good team. I do. Lots of teams do it with keeping the same pieces. And look at Tampa, for example. They've taken a couple of years here where they're like, not so great. They've lost to the Panthers a couple times. Lost to the Leafs in the first round a couple of years ago. But now they're back this year, and you're like, okay, they might make some noise. They retooled a couple pieces. But who's at the top of their lineup still? You still got Braden Point. You still got Kucherov, like those guys, right? So I think a retool definitely is in order at this point, especially because this team certainly doesn't have it. But I don't think a full teardown rebuild, I don't think that would happen anyway. Like, Rodgers wouldn't let that happen anyway. So that's where we're at. But would you rather keep Wall and trade Stolarz or vice versa? Keep Wall. You're keeping Wall. He's younger. Stolarz to me hasn't looked that good this year. He's older. You're going to have to trade one in the summer. There's going to be some noise around that. You're going to have to trade one in the summer. You're not losing Hildeby. There's nothing to me that suggests that Hildeby will not be a good goalie. He's still young and he needs to work on a couple things. There's nothing to me that suggests that he will not be a good goalie. He'll be fine. It has to be a retool. I don't think you should rebuild. I think there's pieces there. But yeah. Okay, let's talk about. Yeah, you definitely keep Wool. I think you definitely keep Wool. Don't buy tickets. That's another thing too. I mean, that's the reason a rebuild happened in 14-15. People stopped going. Like, you still had your corporate tickets and people were in the building because companies were giving tickets away to whoever. And they would go because they're like free Leaf tickets. Because going to a Leafs game, make no mistake about it, is a status symbol, right? Everybody's quiet sitting on their hands at the games anyway. It's just a status symbol. Oh, I went to the Leaf game yesterday. Yeah, so if you stop buying tickets, then, you know, that'll hurt them a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Stop buying jerseys, maybe. We cannot lose Hildebeest. And I still love this team, and I want them to succeed. I'm not completely dumping on. Like, I want this team to win. This is why we're so frustrated. Like, what is going on here? What is going on here? This is the thing, Prophet, too. You can't do it. Like, they're under contract. You literally can't do it because they're under contract, no movement clauses. That's one. Two, I don't think you should, even though I am losing my appetite for everybody on this team. Like, there's some nights where I feel like throwing up and I'm like, get rid of all of these guys. I'm sick of them. There are some nights like that. But if you are the guy, this is what I was thinking about the other day, and let me know how you feel about this in the chat too. If you are the guy, let's say Brad Treliving trades Austin Matthews or William Nylander, right? At this point, I think with where the Leafs are at, if you are the guy that trades them, whether it's Brad Treliving or maybe Brandon Pridham takes over or another GM, you'll never work in the NHL again, especially if they go on and like they're fantastic, right? With another team. I don't think you would work in the NHL again. So it's crazy. And Matthews and Nylander are not useful if the team around them doesn't work. And I was thinking back to, it's a great point. If you go back to last year's playoffs, everyone was dumping on Matthews for the passenger comment, right? He wasn't 100% wrong. He should have taken some accountability himself and been like, I wasn't great either in this game. Like, I didn't do anything. Did Matthews even play in that game, right? He should have taken some accountability in that way. But at the same time, you need a team to win. Florida's bottom six won them that series. You need a team to win. This team is not built right. It's also not deployed correctly. A lot of the guys. Get to some other comments here in a second. Can get prospects at the trade deadline. I want to talk about some Marlies in a second. I keep teasing it. Thank you, Jetski. I appreciate it. And it's just how I feel. I've been watching this team day in, day out, paying attention to morning skates, everything, every little story, every game, everything since 2013. And I've been watching them before that, but since 2013, like, I've been in it. So I've seen everything. And I just don't understand why this team is always so, and it has to do with MLSE. I'm telling you, it has to do with MLSE. Why you are so reactive. Why are you so reactive? It trickles all the way down to the guys on the ice too, right? They're not proactive. Other teams push them around all the time. It trickles all the way down. Still a Michelli truther. Did you see the pass he made to OEL in the first? Not only that one, he made a disgusting backhand pass. Do not trade Michelli. I put Michelli on the first line. Please. Try it. Please try it. I want to see what him and Matthews can do. Matthews needs a guy, because Domi's not doing it right now. I think Domi can have use on this team. He can. I just don't know where he really fits in this year. Last year it made a little bit more sense. And they were still playing him out of position. But try him on the first line. I would like to see what a distributor like Michelli, when he's feeling good, can do with Matthews. Is Berube handcuffed by upper management? Also, where is Villeneuve? Okay, let's get into some of the Marlies now. I want to talk about this because I have some opinions of what I've went to watch the Marlies multiple times this year in person because I was like, I need to watch some of these guys, not on TV, away from the puck, and see what they're all about. So let's get into some of that right now. First of all, I wanted to mention Tyler Hopkins in Guelph in the OHL. He was I believe a second-round pick of the Leafs last year. And he's from Campbellville, local guy. A lot of people were talking about him like might not amount to anything. Had a decent year in Kingston. He got traded to Guelph earlier this year. He is scorching hot right now. Like, he is lighting up the league. Keep in mind, the OHL after the trade deadline, a little bit skewed. Like, some of the teams are like, a lot of teams loaded up with NHL talent. A lot of the talent this year moved to the NCAA. Like, the league is weaker, so keep it in mind. But he scored 2 goals tonight. He had 6 in his last 6 periods, so he's just like on fire, just ripping it up. So I wanted to bring that up. He's been very good. I want to start with Tyler Hopkins this year as well. 22 points in 23 games with just the Guelph Storm. So he's been on a roll. He's been playing well. I want to start with Jacob Quillen. This guy should be in the NHL. He's ripping it up with the Marlies this year. 31 points in 38 games 36 games with the Toronto Marlies. When he was called up to the Leafs last was the day of that big snowstorm. They were playing Colorado in the afternoon. He played 6 minutes. He laid 2 huge hits and probably had their best chance of the entire game. And he played 6 minutes. This is the other thing I wanted to get to. This coach, with where this team is going to go, which is why I think something catastrophic, like something actually is going to happen this summer, or maybe not, and then we're just going to ride this out forever and ever, amen. But something has to change here because this coach can't lead a younger group forward if that's where we're going. So we got to talk about Berube at some point too. Jacob Quillen should be in the NHL. That's where I'm going with that. That is my point. Luke Hames was another guy, and Quillen in the AHL looks great. Luke Hames, to me, been watching, I watched 2 games where he was playing. He's still a ways away from the NHL. Like, he's not an NHL player yet, but he's 22. He just came from the NCAA. He was the highly, sought after NCAA free agent. A lot of teams wanted him, all that stuff, decided to come to Toronto and the Marlies to continue his development. 22 points in 48 games, although 7 goals in his last 15 games. Heating up now, figuring out the league. It takes a minute to figure out the league. Came over for a cup of tea last season at the end of the year as well. So just got his feet wet with 6 points in 9 games. And then this year kind of struggled out of the gate, but he's heating up now. Again, he's figuring out the league. He looks a lot better. Probably needs work on his skating, stuff like that, but he didn't look like out of place or anything like that. He's going. He's on his way. So I like him. Like, that's what I mean by the prospect situation. I don't think is as bad as people are making it out to be. William Villeneuve took a step back this year in terms of offensive production. His game is offense. The Leafs could use some offense from the back end. Right shot defenseman, 23 years old, excuse me. Took a step back offensively this year. He's working on different aspects of his game. His physicality, the board battles, gap control, all of those things. He's working on different aspects. I've talked about it in videos before. I compare William Villeneuve this year to Logan Mailloux with the Montreal Canadiens organization last year. He went back down and they said, please work on X, Y, and Z away from your strengths. We know what you can do with the puck offensively. Work on these things away from that. And he took a step back offensively. He's since then been, traded to the St. Louis Blues, plays in the NHL now. But I think it's a similar situation where the Leafs organization said, work on these things. And he himself, obviously, you want to get better at that. But anytime I see a guy come from the QMJHL, OHL, WHL, junior leagues, and NCAA, and the offense follows them to the pro level, you got a player there. If it doesn't translate, you're in trouble. But it has translated to, we've seen good numbers. I mean, almost a point a game player last year, taking a step back this year, at least offensively, but he's adding different things. So again, I don't know why he's not in the NHL. He should be probably next year. Noah Chadwick's another interesting one this year. I think he's had a definitely a pretty good year. Had a small stint with the Marlies 2 seasons ago. Last year went back to the WHL, had a really good year. First full season in the AHL this year. Hasn't put up a ton of points or anything like that, but again, looked pretty good. He scored the game tying goal when I went to the last one against Laval late in the 3rd, so something there, I guess, but hasn't looked that bad. He is a minus player, but he's another guy, 6'4" on the back end, 208 pounds. Like, if he can continue his development at only 20 years old, like, you might have a player there as well. We haven't really talked about him either, so he's another guy that, looks pretty good to me. Like, I think that he could be a player too. And then Cade Weber, I just wanted to bring this up because a lot of people forget about him too. He's down there developing too, 6'8", or we were told he was 6'8". I don't know. They have him here at 6'6", but large player, 220 pounds. So I don't think it's that bad with the Marlies specifically, but the draft pick thing has got to get going here. So you need some draft picks. So William Villanova minus with the Marlies. Marlies aren't that great of a team. Get to some comments now as well. Problem is, if Domi isn't on the top line, it doesn't really make sense anywhere. That's the thing with the team this year. He doesn't. Leafs have no structure, and they are easy to get scored on. 30th in the league in goals against. Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage, Sam. It's garbage. Goaltending needs to be like literally perfect. The structure doesn't work this year. You have too many injuries. Also, Keith Pelly, to come out and blame only the injuries on how the season has gone, give me a break. Give me a break. You haven't been that injured. There's other teams around the league that have been injured. I mean, there were points where a lot of guys were out of the lineup this year, but like you can see it even when they're healthy. Tonight, the structure is horrible, and you have nobody who can move the puck on the back end. Matthews plays physical when he cares, like he needs to be in it to do it. I've seen him bully people off the puck. He bullied people off the puck tonight. There's a couple times he went into the boards and he just shoves the guy. The other guy completely loses his balance, takes the puck, he's gone the other way, right? So I don't think the window's closed. I think you can retool this fairly quickly. Like, I think you can get out of this. I do, with some of the top end talent that you have. But you have to build. I might be done with the coach here. I think Berube and Treliving are, because everyone just throws it out there. The Leafs aren't performing. This guy's garbage, right? This guy, you hear it everywhere, right? This guy's garbage. Get rid of him. But I think Treliving and Berube are good pieces for a team that is looking to get over the hump or is like right there and just needs that little something like they were last year, right? Which is why I kind of like the hire, because I was like, okay, he's not an X's and O's guy, he's not a big structure guy, whatever, but maybe this team just needs like a motivator, like, yeah, get in there. Maybe that's the only thing that was missing, right? Cool, so I was into it. And then Treliving, like the types of trades he knows how to make and that he's good at, maybe, you can add some pieces, and he did some things at the deadline last year where I was like, okay, Carlo kind of bolsters the lineup a little bit, stuff like that. Lawton made sense at the time. Hindsight 2020, of course, right? You head into this year and you're like, holy smokes, if we are headed for a retool now because things have gone this poorly and like, yeah, maybe some of these guys are getting older and you need to rethink some things. I don't know if they are the guys to lead you out of this. I don't know. Well, what is a window? Like, are we talking about the window of like Auston Matthews' career, let's say? Because I don't think Auston Matthews' days as a Leaf, like trying to win a Stanley Cup, are done, is what I'm trying to say. I think you can turn this around very quickly. I think injuries do play a part as well. But I think for Keith Pelly to come out and be like, the reason we are in this position is because we are injured, is garbage. That's wrong. Yeah, Binner was insane for... the goaltending has to be close to perfect like it was last year, and it's not this year, right? So, same with Binner that year that they won the Stanley Cup. So, if you hire a GM, just promote Pridham. With where the team is at right now, no point in looking external. I agree. And Pridham knows the team like the back of his hand, right? He's been here the whole time. So, by all accounts, Brandon Pridham, and he's the highest paid, I think, assistant general manager in the league too, because they want to keep his services. So, I wouldn't mind that either. Talked about that a little bit this season too, so I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, talk about DeBoer. Could be DeBoer is another guy that's like, there's coaches in this league like maybe less Berube, Pete DeBoer, Peter Laviolette. I'm trying to think of some other guys. Like those two specifically to me are like coaches that you're like, okay, this team has done great things. We have great players. We're looking to compete for a Stanley Cup. We haven't quite been able to figure it out yet. We're going to hire guys like that. Peter Laviolette, Pete DeBoer. Come in, please get us over this hump. That's what those coaches are to me. I don't know if the Leafs are there now. Like, I don't know what you do now. Hey, maybe if Sheldon Keefe gets fired in New Jersey, you can hire him. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be cool? I do want to bring up, too, that I brought it up earlier in the stream. This is the current... actually, this is a better look at it. This is the current situation for draft picks. Now, the Leafs just hired the guy to because Wes Clark oversaw the drafts before. He's moved on to Pittsburgh with Kyle Dubas. The Leafs just hired the guy that was doing the drafts for the Dallas Stars. If you go look at who the Dallas Stars have drafted over the last, 10 years, their draft history is fantastic. Like, they got basically their entire roster in one draft, including Jake Ottinger. But anyway, besides the point. They hired him, so he's overseeing the drafts now. What is he going to do with this year? You have 3 picks, and one of them is not yours. You need to get back in the first round, because that guy's going to try and work some magic, because he oversaw things, and he has a great staff now. Like, the Leafs obviously have a very vast staff when it comes to things like this, except for, I guess, sports science, and we've talked about that earlier this year. But what is he going to do with this? And you don't have a first round pick, by the way, until 2028. You need to get back into the first round, especially if this team's not making the playoffs. Treliving gutted the Flames for us teams. We're just next. A lot of people like to say that too, but I feel like he was handcuffed by ownership. Maybe like he is here as well. The owner, he didn't want, like, Daryl Sutter was hired. He didn't want Daryl Sutter to be his coach in Calgary. Ownership made that happen. He didn't want to make some of the trades that he made. Ownership made him do some of those things. He left Calgary because he didn't want to be told what to do anymore. And ironically, it came to Toronto, where the only thing he's done is be told what to do. So I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah. Robert, I would agree. I agree with that. Take a look at Stolars, take a look at OEL and McMahon. OEL is at the height of his value. What if he doesn't have a season like this next year? You're going to sit on your hands and not get any types of assets from him? Look at the league right now. You don't think you can get a first-round pick for OEL the way he's playing? Top minutes, he's your best defenseman. I think it's in the conversation. I think there's a conversation there to be had. So I think you could have it. We're going to wrap up here soon, guys. Let's keep throwing throw all your ideas, questions, all that in the chat. It has been fun tonight. It has been fun tonight. Still thinking about the Leafs-Panthers game 3, up 3-1 in the game. Why would you do this to me, Prophet? I was watching, they were off for 3 weeks. I went back and watched some playoff highlights. Over the years, I find myself going, how did they lose that game? Like, even the Jays, right? Last year, game 7, I'm like, how did they lose? How does that happen, right? Team Canada, a couple days ago, I'm like, how does that happen? I've looked back at other playoff series over the years with the Leafs, and I go, how did that happen? The one against the Panthers, I'm like, how, with a team this skilled, put together like this, trying to win a Stanley Cup, how did you allow that to happen? It's insane. Insane. Treliving traded Monahan and a first to Montreal, which I actually think wasn't getting out from cap space. Kind of sucks. I get it with the first attached. To Calgary. And then, yeah, Kent Hughes is doing a great job in Montreal, though, right? He flipped it, which is kind of what I'm saying what you should do here. If you can get let's say you can't get a first for Bobby McMahon, and he doesn't have a contract extension in place, right, by the trade deadline. And we know this team's going nowhere. Like, I don't care if they win tomorrow. This team's not going to the playoffs. Get 2 firsts then. Do the Kiefer Sherwood thing. Get 2 seconds, for Bobby McMahon. Attach those 2 seconds to another asset or something like that. You don't have to do exactly this, but maybe attach one of those assets to another asset that you have in terms of like Lawton or Carlo or, OEL, whatever, and go get other assets. Go get a first round pick. Like, do a little bit of buying and selling, but don't buy in terms of, yeah, we're going to try and make the playoffs. Like, don't do that. Try and get back in the first round. But you can flip assets like that. But that, ladies and gentlemen, would require being creative. And I don't know if the Leafs management have a creative bone in their body. And it might not be management. It could actually just be ownership. But doesn't matter at this point. It's all the same. It's all the same. And then I would love to hear some of the post-game comments too, which I'm going to go look at after this. It's going to be, I thought we battled. We learned some lessons, and we're going to come back tomorrow. Tomorrow play the Panthers, and the other goalie will go net, and we'll do it all again. And then Berube's going to announce the lineup, and we're all going to go, what is going on here? And then they're going to play another hockey game, and then they're going to lose again probably. So just the way this season's going. Who will be the Leafs president? MLSE does not believe in presidents anymore. They got rid of everybody. TFC doesn't have one. They fired Masai Ujiri, and Brandon Shanahan was let go. Now, Brandon Shanahan probably should have been let go, but I don't think they're having any presidents anymore. So the thing that scares me is you have the CEO of MLSE, and the next person after him for each team is the general manager. And the general manager doesn't have full ownership to go do whatever they want. They always have to report back to the CEO. But I don't know what the CEO has knowledge on in terms of how to run a hockey team. We're in some dark times. Yes, Prophet. Nylander's... Oh, Nylander. I love John Tavares too, but him and Nylander, man, they just be learning lessons. Him and Nylander, I guess they're doing like Duolingo or something. Like, they're just doing lessons. They're always just doing lessons. Darius, with all of our discussions, the Leafs now have a 95% chance to win tomorrow. That's because the Florida Panthers are so hurt. Like, I think Kachuk's not playing, and I'm pretty sure Marchand needs surgery or something like that. The Panthers are so injured that they're probably calling up guys from like a beer league there. I don't even know who's in the Panthers lineup for tomorrow's game. And I hope the Leafs win so I can go woohoo for a second. That'd be nice. But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I'm lost. I am lost on this, guys. I'm not lost. I think I'm just scared. I think we're all kind of scared, aren't we? Are we a little scared? Like, we know what's going on, right? We know what's going on. Like, this is not going to a good place. It's not. So, what about Alex Nylander? He's with the Marlies. He's an AHL player. He came to Toronto to hang out with his brother who has a contract with the Leafs and is not going anywhere, and he's playing the AHL, plays pro hockey. He's an AHL player. That's all. And the one thing I'll say about William Nylander is we know who he is at this point. He makes a lot of money, but we know who he is at this point. And I feel like Phil Kessel, when he was here, got dumped on a lot because they couldn't get it done. And like, he wasn't a heart and soul back check type of player, even though I thought he played really well in the playoffs when they eventually made the playoffs. But you got to build a team around a guy like that. Like, he was there to score goals. That's why he was on the team. Put up a bunch of points, score a goal when you need it, right? Nylander, to me, I kind of see him in that same light where it's like the rest of the team, you got to have rules, right? Like, I know he doesn't back check and he floats sometimes and we're all like upset about it, but there are times he explodes for some offense, and that's what he is. It's what he is. I've made peace with that fact. It's what he is. Well, no, Austin Matthews is a better hockey player than Phil Kessel. Relax. Relax. I do love Phil Kessel, though. He holds a very... I was sad when he was traded. I understood why, but I was like, that kind of sucks. Like, I don't know. Like, to blame everything that was happening on Phil Kessel was just ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. How did the Leafs break the curse, though? That's the thing with curse. You don't. Write it out. But I think I have to be honest, guys. Like, I'm going to remain optimistic for all you guys tuning into the channel. Every day when they make some moves, we're going to deliver you what's happening. We're going to keep you up to date with everything that's happening with the Leafs. And I'm going to remain optimistic. But don't think in those videos in the back of my head, I'm not like, this is not headed for a good place, right? Because we're not. We're in the dark times again. This is scary stuff. Imagine Phil took it serious. Guy lost the nugget. And still a legend, better than Matthews. Come on. Maybe like more of a legend at this point with the Stanley Cups and the hot dogs and stuff like that. That never happened, by the way. Like, the whole story about the hot dog thing was like so ridiculous. And then he did the Stanley Cup thing with the hot dogs in it because he saw the story. It's funny. It's funny. Profit. Let's not do that. I had a game that day. I was at my game and we're watching and we're like, the Leafs went up 4-1. And then I watched them collapse on like a TV in the arena. And everyone was deflated. And then we were all like, holy smokes, let's get home for overtime because they still have a chance to win. Which, like, the back of your head, you're like, this is over, right? Because like the Bruins are pushing. And then they lost. I saw it from the comfort of my own home, but that was horrible. I remember we were like celebrating with the refs and stuff on the ice. We're like, holy, we're up 4-1. This is crazy. Like they're going to make the 3-1 down comeback. Nope. Leafs are too dumb to trade OEL. That's what I mean. They're reactive team. Very reactive team. They'll never be proactive. If you don't have the fire, it's bad for other players. Brings down the whole team. Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there, guys. We'll have a video for you guys tomorrow. Obviously, they play. There's a bunch of stories. Brandon Carlo. We'll probably have some stuff on that tomorrow in terms of he's on the trade block, so they're trying to do something. I don't know. The other interesting thing, I'll leave you guys to think on this, I guess, until tomorrow. Today, new reports came out that multiple players are on the trade block, and the Leafs are looking to they're looking to hold for the next week. See how the games play out. I'm scared of that because they're playing some weak teams in the Eastern Conference. So they could actually pick up some wins, and then management's going to go, yeah, we're so good. We're going to try and go for the playoffs and not sell. The other option is that they do a soft sell from all the reports that we heard, which is like McMahon, maybe Brandon Carlo, who's on the trade block, stuff like that, right? Then Keith Pelly comes out with the letter to season ticket holders that says, we're going to try and make the playoffs. We're going to do everything we can to make the playoffs. And I just feel like all of that is conflicting. All of that is conflicting. I don't believe anything that's coming from the organization right now. It's sick. It's sick. And I feel like MLSE should know, like, the messaging coming out. If you wanted to bring your fans closer to the team and you wanted to have a better relationship with the fans and the media, which was the whole thing that we were talking about last year, that's what the team wanted to do coming into this year. Stop treating your fans like they don't know what's happening. Because they know what's happening. Like, we all pay attention every day. So, something to think on heading into tomorrow. We'll see what they end up doing. But I don't think there's going to be any trades till, like, deadline day or the day before. We'll see how the week plays out. And we'll be live for that because I have to be honest. I've been very optimistic. I will lose my mind if they do not make a trade. Or if they buy. I will lose my mind because it's just so ridiculous. You can think optimism in one hand and poop in the other. So which hand do you think is going to fill up first? The hope is they sell and somehow still make the playoffs to avoid getting Boston a great pick. Yeah, exactly. I would love to see them in the playoffs too. Like, just to see them in the playoffs, it would be exciting. But not at the expense of, like, not selling anything off because we know that they're probably not going anywhere. So, sell off some assets. Get some assets in return. Call up some Marlies. We know they're probably not going to do that because Berube's not going to play them. But that's the thing that we know should probably happen. Call up a Jacob Quillen. Just see what he can do. Maybe he can help you. I don't know. Make some plays. This team looks dead. Some of these lines look dead. It's awful. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great night as the Leafs continue to stress us out. And we'll be back for another video tomorrow. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I'll probably be live after tomorrow's game. We'll play it by ear. But we'll certainly be live for a lot of stuff. And trade deadline next week, so we'll be live for that. Stay tuned for that. Leafs should be busy one way or another. We'll see what they end up doing. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Stories of the bold where legends untold, from first pop drop to the season's fall. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.